Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and welcome to Righteous Command TV, the tourist man in Black Africa. Yesterday, if you listened very keenly to William Samoei Ruto's interview in State House, one thing was very clear, that William Samoei Ruto is very eager to see the death of Azimio. Ni mtu ambaye anaomba usiku na mchana kuona ya kwamba chama cha Azimio kimesambaratika. And the hatred for Azimio was very clear. Chuki ambayo anayo kuhusu Azimio ilikuwa inajitokeza wazi wazi. And why do you think he feels so much desperate? Why do you think he is so keen to see the death of Azimio? So in this video, I want us to look critically at what I believe, in my view, are the reasons behind this kind of desire. Kwa nini anataka chama hiki kisabaratike? Kwa nini anataka chama hiki kiishe kabisa? Because that is what he wants. The first reason, kwa sababu kusema kweli alisema ya kwamba, let me put it very clearly what he said, that Azimio will crumble like a house of cards. And he was very certain that Azimio will crumble down. Azimio will fail. So I want us to look at the real reasons behind this kind of attitude toward Azimio. So if you are joining this channel for the first time, kindly subscribe to our channel. And for our viewers, request you just one thing, hit that thumbs up button to support this channel. The first reason is the fear of Babu Owino. What many people don't know is that Babu Owino is lethal. Babu Owino is the future of Azimio. Babu Owino is the only person who can tell Ruto bluff. Babu Owino is the only person who has a following in Nairobi and even outside Nairobi. The fact that he comes from the city, the fact that Babu Owino is youthful, the fact that he can rally Nairobi youth and even the country's youth behind him is something that scares William Samoei Ruto. Indeed, even Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta feared Babu Owino in one way or the other. And I think Babu Owino, by the fact that he was a student leader of the University of Nairobi, then this man, you see, is somebody who is also very charismatic. Because in the University of Nairobi, if you look at most of the student leaders who are elected, wengi wao who are ni watu ambao, we call them charismatic leaders, and they have a following. When they talk, you listen, and they don't mince the words. So Babu Owino could easily antagonize William Samoei Ruto. So if this Azimio, because you can imagine Babu Owino inheriting Azimio as it is, with the support of the party machinery, then you can see why I'm saying that, by the fact that he is even younger than Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta and Raila Amolo Odinga and William Samoei Ruto and Kalonzo Musyoka. And you see, majority of youth are below, in Kenya, about 60% are below 35 years. So you can see the kind of following that Babu Owino is likely to attract. The other reason is the phobia, Raila phobia. Raila is also feared in equal measures, just as he is loved in equal measures. And this is something that, William Samoei Ruto in the past has worked with Raila Amolo Odinga, and he knows what Raila Amolo Odinga is capable of doing. He knows that he can destroy a party completely. He knows that he can antagonize even the government. He knows that if he is not tamed, if he is not controlled, he can easily bring something that has been built in many years down, like Kenya Kwanza. In fact, the greatest fear in Kenya Kwanza in general is Raila Amolo Odinga. What is he up to? And the other reason why William Samoei Ruto is very keen to see the downfall and the disintegration of Azimio as a coalition is because he doesn't want to see a strong opposition. Azimio is a strong opposition, all said and done. And I think it's one of the strongest opposition party in Africa. I don't see any other party. When you compare Azimio with opposition party in East Africa, and West Africa, and even in South Africa, you agree with me that Azimio is a very strong opposition party. So this is something that scares William Samoei Ruto. And again, when you look at the experience in Azimio, when you look at people like Anyang' Nyong'o, when you look at people like James Orego, when you look at Raila Amolo Odinga, and many other guys who are in opposition, who are very strong, who are very experienced, it is something that scares the government. And when you look at Azimio, especially when you look at the governors and even the MPs and the MCAs, you don't see people like Kawiras, people who are not experienced. And again, you remember that even William Samoei Ruto also said that they are suffering from this kind of leaders who are inexperienced in Kenya Kwanza, and he gave an example of Kawira. Kwa hivyo hili ni jambo ambalo huwezi ukaliona katika mlego wa Azimio, kwa sababu unapoangalia Azimio, ukiangalia Azimio, other than looking at brainy people, because one thing I like about Azimio is that they go for brains, they go for charisma, they go for courage. I like Kikuyus, for instance, who are said to go for some togeges. And for instance, in Kikuyu, you find some people who cannot not be able to express themselves, some people who cannot be able to follow even the standing orders, some people who cannot even understand what the constitution say about this. These are the kind of leaders, and even in other communities are no better. But when you go to Azimio, you realize that Azimio is very, very keen when it comes to electing the leaders. Jambo lingine ambalo linamfanya apendelee kusabaratika kwa chama cha Azimio ni kuogopa Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. He fears Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, but the fact that he has been associated with Azimio, and he seems not to be retiring as expected, it is something that makes William Samoei Ruto to fear Azimio. And what he fears most is not even the association, it's the financing. Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta is very rich, and he has means. He can support a candidate, and this candidate can easily trounce William Samoei Ruto in 2027. He can finance the party. He can ensure that Azimio holds. Na hili ni jambo ambalo linamfanya William Samoei Ruto aobe kuona ya kwamba chama hiki cha Azimio kimesabaratika. Again, there's also this fear of the Mount Kenya Foundation, who are associated with Raila Amolo Odinga. These people who are very rich. Mount Kenya Foundation is an association of Kikuyu businessmen who are extremely rich. People like Mashari of Royal Media and many others who are associated with this foundation. And if they support, if they finance, they continue to finance this party, because I think William Samoei Ruto is afraid that, is fearing that these guys, this association, this foundation could still be funding Azimio and could even fund it in 2027. Kwa sababu unajua walikuwa na jambo ambalo halikuweza kutimizwa, walikuwa na jambo ambalo halikutimizwa wakati ambapo uchaguzi ulikuwa na maswali mengi ambayo mpaka sasa hajajibiwa. This is something that he is keen on ensuring, because with the support of these guys with a lot of money, anybody would be afraid. And the other reason is because he wants to isolate Raila Amolo Odinga. And by isolating Raila Amolo Odinga, he will be seen as just an ODM leader. And again, not even an ODM, but a Luo party. You want to ensure that Raila Amolo Odinga is completely isolated. Because when you look at William Samoei Ruto, he has been restless. He has been castigating Raila Amolo Odinga here and there, kusema hili na hili. And if you watched him in the TV, you realize that most of the things that he was saying out of fear of Raila Amolo Odinga. The other thing is that he wants to reduce the Kikuyu's options, because you see, William Samoei Ruto is very certain that in the fullness of time, he's not going to hold the Kikuyus in Kenya Kwanza. And Kikuyus are partless. That's the funny thing about the Kikuyus. They don't have a party. So what happened is that walijipata katika chama cha UDA bila kuwa na chama chao, because all said and done, parties are regional in Kenya. Parties are tribal based. Na ukiangalia Wakikuyu hawana chama kile ambacho unaweza kukiita chao. And they can easily support Raila Amolo Odinga, or they can easily support, you can easily join hands with Azimio. Politics is anything can happen in politics. And we saw, remember, you have always been saying there are no permanent enemies in politics. So by ensuring that he has destroyed Azimio, he has ensured that the Kikuyus have zero options unless and until they form their party, which can take ages. It's not easy to form a party in Kenya. And it is very easy for the Kikuyus to join another party like Azimio. And unajua wakiungana wanaweza kuwa a very strong party. And I think this is something that can scare the government. So by destroying that party, I think he is giving a zero option. What people don't know is that William Samoei Ruto is a very shrewd politician, and he sees very far. The only person who could see far is Jaramogi himself. But I can tell you that William Samoei Ruto is also no pushover, and is somebody who calculates. Because for now, what he's even doing, he's calculating for 2027 and 2032, and even aligning and ensuring that the Kikuyus are not going to enter State House again as a president. No Kikuyu will enter State House as a president maybe in the next 20-30 years if what William Samoei Ruto is planning is going to happen. So I don't know what you learned in that interview, because if you ask me, most of the things that William Samoei Ruto was saying, he was saying out of hatred, out of fear, and he didn't come out very clearly on why he should not continue with subsidies, and where after saving this money, what is he doing? It was not very clear. So if I was to give him out of 10, I would still give him 4. Yes, very good in talking, but when you look at the substance, when you look at what is supposed to be done, what is intended to be done, you see nothing but empty promises. This is your host, Gracious Cayman, the Tallest Man in Black Africa. Remember to like this video, and may you have a blessed day.